What's up, everybody? I just want to apologize in advance for the audio on this video. I was using a wireless mic and it fuzzed out on me a couple times. I don't think you missed any important information, but sorry in advance.
What's going on, everybody? Travis here, and today we're going to be talking a little bit about winter essentials and safety on the boat.
We're in pursuit, we're in pursuit.
All right, so there's certain things you should have on your boat, most of them required by law. And there's also some other things that maybe you haven't thought of, and maybe I'll help you think of them before you actually need them, because that might be helpful. First thing you gotta have on a boat is a signaling device like this. You also need to have a secondary audio signaling device. What most people do, including myself, is just get one of these whistles. If your battery's dead or your boat's underwater, it's gonna be kind of hard to use the horn, so spend a couple bucks, invest in one of these. The other thing that you need to have is a fire extinguisher. Nice, small, compact one. Most boats, new boats that you purchase, come with one. If you buy a used boat that does not have one, buy one. It will come in very handy should you need it, and will keep you from getting a ticket from the Coast Guard or whatever jurisdiction authorities you may run into while out on the water. Okay, the next thing that you need to have is some sort of visual signaling device. So this is a Lake Boat day-night signal kit, and it has one red handheld flare, one orange smoke flare, and this one even comes with another whistle. So see, you can get this in your kit. You have all your backup stuff set. Life jackets, another important thing. So according to the U.S. Coast Guard, you need to have one life jacket, class 2, 3, or 4. For any persons under the age of 13, they have to be wearing their life jacket at all times. Adults don't have to wear their life jacket all the time, but you have to have it on the boat. I think that's pretty self-explanatory there. Be advised, if you have an inflatable auto-deploy type life jacket, that does not count for having one on the boat unless you wear it at all times. So if you're out fishing by yourself and you're wearing the thing the whole time, you're covered. If you're not wearing it the whole time, you need to have another non-inflatable jacket on the boat. Okay, so here's an example of an inflatable PFD. PFD meaning personal flotation device. So as you can see, it's compact, it's not bulky, it's not in your way, it's comfortable to wear. It has a sensor in it. If you go in the water, it's going to inflate itself. It's got a large CO2 canister in it that's going to do the work for you. So you can see it's got a nice big CO2 canister on it. It's got a sensor. If you go into the water, it will inflate. If for some reason it does not self-inflate, it's got this ripcord here. You pull this, it will release the CO2 from the canister and inflate. And I think somewhere in here. And third option, sensor doesn't go off, ripcord doesn't work. Over here on the opposite side, much like you know how the flight attendants teach you, you can blow it up yourself with this little tube. So you don't have to go quite this fancy on your rig. It's about safety, but I find this convenient and comfortable. So this is tournaments in the league that I'm in. Life jackets must be worn when the boat's on plane, meaning when you're basically above an idle, cruising around, you need this on. You can take it off while you're actually standing on the deck and fishing. If you are in bad weather, I recommend wearing it all the time. Speaking of bad weather, so this past weekend I fished a tournament at Lake Louisville and it was brutal. 20 to 30 mile an hour winds. It was cold. It was basically worst fishing conditions. Now the club actually canceled the event, but a handful of us wanted to go out anyway, you know, the die-hard fishing people. So we went out anyway. It just wasn't an official club sanctioned tournament. And one fish was caught. So there's 5 boats, 9 fishermen, 1 fish was caught. If I would have known how bad the conditions were gonna be, I would have probably skipped the thing. But once I was there, I was committed to it. We had to go all the way across. Well, we didn't have to. That was actually my decision. We went all the way across the lake and it was rough getting across, but it was brutal getting back. I took a lot of water on the boat. We had high rollers, white caps. I had rollers washing, at least one roller washed all the way over the front casting deck. I had a lot of water in my boat. We got into a situation where we had 2 options. One was to take it slow, which meant cold. As we're breaking into the rollers, it's splashing a lot of water into the air that the wind is driving right into our faces. My partner did not wear rain gear because it wasn't raining. He regretted it. I'm gonna recommend wearing rain gear anytime the weather's cold. For one thing, you never know when you're gonna get into that kind of chop and end up getting splashed in between the wind, and that's a bad day. My partner got soaked to the skin. He was wearing coveralls, nice thick insulated coveralls. He got so wet that it went through his coveralls, through his clothes, and he was cold water on skin in the wind as we were trying to get back to the boat ramp. That's not something you want to do. Even when it's not raining, the rain gear will help the wind from biting into your clothes. It makes a huge difference. Even if you're not wearing it, keep it on your boat. Even if it's just a 2-piece frog tog, really small thing, or even, you know, the old Home Depot special pants and jacket, yellow plastic thing, anything that's waterproof is better than nothing. You put some trash bags on, it'll help. It'll be worse than not having it. The other thing that came in handy that was something I decided to do a long time ago is I got my bag. In this bag, which I keep on board at all time, I have plastic bags. I have one plastic bag holding my rain gear. I have another plastic bag holding a nice big beach towel, and a third plastic bag holding a complete change of clothes. If you end up in the water, you're fortunate enough to get yourself out of the water, or with help get out of the water, you need to get those wet clothes off as soon as possible. So a nice big towel to dry off on and a change of clothes to change into. That's the difference between being cold, humiliated, and uncomfortable, and being dead or severely sick, hypothermia, pneumonia. These are all things that can really come along and kick your butt. It's just an easy option. You can get, this is just a Bass Pro boat bag. I also have dry bags. These are things to keep on your boat. Keep clothes in them, keep towels in them. It may end up saving your life. Now, speaking of the cold, gloves. Very important. Now, these are winter fishing gloves. Basically what they are is, it's a mitten. Okay, nice and warm. The mitten part of it folds back and velcros in place to expose your fingers and your thumb so that you can actually still tie fishing knots. Wear gloves. It's hard enough as it is to tie fishing knots. If you can't feel your fingers, you're gonna have a bad time. The other thing that is one of the smartest purchases I've made as far as wintertime fishing is some sort of face mask. Now, this is more geared towards skiing or snowmobiling. It's neoprene. and it's fleece lined. It will keep the wind off you. It will keep your face much warmer than nothing, especially when you're out in the wind. There's to it. It zips up the back. Good purchase. So those are lessons learned over I think it was more of a lesson learned for my partner than for myself. But whenever you're going to be out on the water in less than favorable conditions, or really any time, be prepared. You never know what's going to happen. You don't want to take the unintentional swim. If you do, you want your life jacket on you, and you want some clean, dry clothes to change into. Very, very important. If any of you subscribe to Milliken Fishing, and if you don't, you should go check out Milliken Fishing. Ben Milliken's a good guy. He's from Missouri. He does great videos. He does a lot of fishing. He recently went into icy cold water. He actually went through the ice. He slipped off a dock, went through the ice. He was by himself, and he's really lucky to be alive. Fortunately, at the marina he was at, where people aren't usually at this time of year, there were a couple people that were at the marina that were working there, and after he had spent what he thinks is close to 20 minutes in the water, they came out of the building all the way across the parking lot. They could hear him screaming. It saved his life. When you get in cold water, and it doesn't have to be 30 degree water, if you're in anything under about 50 degrees, it's within minutes. You will lose the feeling in your hands. Your muscles will start shutting down. You will not have the strength to pull yourself out of the water, especially if you're wearing a whole bunch of waterlogged clothes. So please be safe out there. It's especially important in the wintertime, and it's especially important in rough water. Let's not forget the throw cushions. So on any boat that's on any motorized boat that's more than 16 feet in length, you must have a throw cushion. This is a type 4 PFD. So 1, 2, 3, those are all wearable, and a 5 is like a full suit, like someone going for crabs in Alaska would be wearing. This is a type 4 throw cushion. They're cheap, they're easy, and they're required. And of course, a first aid kit is a very important thing to have on the boat. This is just a really basic off-the-shelf at Walmart or wherever I was when I bought this. At least have a basic first aid kit. Keep it dry. If the kit comes wrapped in cellophane, leave the cellophane on or put it in a watertight bag. If you do cut yourself or end up burying a hook in yourself, having wet socks is probably not the best thing to be putting on your wound. Okay, so another good idea to have on your boat is these little bad boys, hand warmers. You can get these at Walmart. I think it's $1.24 for 2 sets of hand warmers. They are great. You take them out of the package, you shake them up, they're warm. It's just a little sort of a powder-filled pouch. Stick them in your pockets, so when you're not actually fishing, you can do that. I like to take those mittens and shove them down in the mitten part of it, so that when I'm not actually fishing, I can close that mitten, warm them up. And if you do take that accidental swim, you will be glad that you had these. You bust out a set, throw them in your socks, bust out a set, keep your hands warm. Once you got your dry clothes on, maybe get some feeling back in those extremities. Cheap, easy, simple solution. Thanks for watching. If you haven't already done so, please click like and subscribe, and leave me a comment. Share this video with your friends. I'm trying to get the subscription list a little fatter. Later on this week, possibly over the weekend, I will be filming of the Fishing for Beginners series, and we're going to be talking about reels. So stay tuned for that. Keep grinding them out. You'll catch one eventually.